This clip right here may be beneficial if you and your partner are reconciling, forgiving, and rebuilding after some type of broken trust, primarily infidelity or affairs. So basically, one of the entangled discussions I often have with couples when I'm working with them is, the spouse who stepped out will complain about their partner. And this gets very hairy because you don't want to blame your partner for your decisions, because nobody held a gun to anybody's head and said, please cheat on me. Let me make that very clear. But let me just get into the thick of things. I want you to imagine you're making brownies, okay? With brownies, you need some brownie mix, you need some eggs, maybe you need some oil, you need some salt, you need some butter, you need some baking powder, you need a pan, you need an oven, you need the oven on 450. So what happens is, let's just say you put a little bit too much baking powder or a little too less baking powder into the mix. Are beautiful, delicious brownies gonna come out? No, beautiful, delicious brownies are not gonna come out because there was a component that was not there. So what has to happen in counseling or coaching is we have to work on, let's just say, the infidelity or the affair. And that's the burning house on fire. We need to put the fire out before we try to go in there and, see what photo albums are damaged. So we need to put out the fire, and that's the affair, and that's the damage of the affair, the hurt from the affair, the destruction from the affair. And without question, the person who stepped out is 100% responsible for making that decision. Period. End of story. However, when the dust settles and some healing takes place, and hopefully both parties are working very hard for that to take place, then we start discussing, why was the baking powder, the baking soda, why was too much of that into the mix, or why was too little of that into the mix? Now see, what the partner who betrayed wants to do is focus on that baking powder. Well, you didn't put enough baking powder in, or you put too much baking powder in, and whoa. That's one ingredient out of many. And the majority of these ingredients happened before you even met your current partner. So, did your partner, or did you, if you're watching this and you were betrayed, have something to do with your partner's decision? In the grand scheme of things, no. Because again, unless you hold a gun to somebody's head and say, cheat on me, everybody makes their own decisions. Did you help load their gun to be able to give them the opportunity to shoot? Did you happen to not have enough baking soda or baking powder, or put too much in, or whatever? Possibly. And that needs to be divvied out. So we have responsibility in how we show up in the relationship. We have responsibility for what we bring into the relationship. And if we have negativity, and we have insecurities and weaknesses and needs and all these things, and we're not working on ourselves, and that affects what we bring into the relationship or the marriage, that could affect the dynamics of the marriage, which could add to the components of the brownie mix or add to the bullets of the gun. But let me make it very clear. The person who stepped out is the only person responsible for picking up that gun, aiming it, pulling the trigger, and firing. Just like the person responsible for those brownies, ultimately, you made the brownies not taste optimal because you never went and told the other ingredient, I really need you. I'm falling short in this area. I really need you to, add baking powder or baking soda, or put less baking soda, because had you have done that, and I'm talking now to the person who stepped out, had you have made that very clear, you would have given your spouse an opportunity to adjust what's needed so they didn't add to the bad components of your relationship that added to the components for you to step out. Now, let me be very, very clear. Even if you did go to your person and say, listen, I'm not happy, I'm not this, I'm not that, and they didn't change, you're still responsible for stepping out. because marital issues are marital issues. Flaws and all. Infidelity issues are infidelity issues. Your spouse is responsible for half of the marital issues. Your spouse is not responsible at all for the infidelity issues. I hope that clarified some things for some of you.